Hello and welcome to Elets Innovation Talk, your one-stop platform for all things around B2B healthcare and industry. So thank you so much everybody for joining us back. Today we have a very exclusive show which is with the founders of Orthobiologix. Today we have Mr. Niteen Tulpule, who is the director of Orthobiologix Biotech Private Limited. He's also the director of Sirona Diagnostics Private Limited and Shanti Imaging and Specialty Clinics LLP. So thank you so much for joining us. We also have Dr. Sharmila Tulpule, who is the founder and director of Orthobiologix Biotech Private Limited. And with that, we will be diving deep into what Orthobiologix does, the amazing work that these guys are doing, also the industry in general. So we would be sharing a lot of facts and exclusive information with our audience today. So first of all, I'd like to welcome both our speakers, Dr. Sharmila and Mr. Niteen. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. We are so glad to have you on this platform today.
Thank you, Dr. Asawari.
Thank you so much.
Great. With that, let us start with our questions. So not being any, directional. So the first question is about Orthobiologix itself. So what is this organization about? What you guys are doing in the industry? And, can you please touch upon the, impact that you are creating, starting from Dr. Sharmila, then I will go to Niteen, sir.
Yeah, hi. Nice to talk on this platform. Thank you for having us. So coming to Orthobiologix, basically, I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I'm doing orthopedic surgery since last 30 years. And last few years, around 5 to 7 years, I have been interested in regenerative medicine. And that's where the concept of running an orthobiologics center, which is exclusively treating patients only with biological solutions. So we hit upon this idea and we actually started a center first in Bombay, and then we are having a few branches in India as well. Mainly regenerative medicine or orthobiologics treats chronic orthopedic conditions or degenerative orthopedic conditions with biological solutions. So that is the fundamental concept. Now, why is it important to have biological solutions? Because we know that there is a huge treatment gap between the routine conservative treatments that we give as orthopedic surgeons. I know that for sure that we just treat with pain management. Okay, so initial treatment what starts as just painkillers and a few injectables, and then if nothing works, we jump onto surgeries which are pretty complicated, which are pretty mutilating, and not always we do get 100% results. And so that led to the quest of having something in between which could probably treat the root cause of the disease. So that is the concept of Orthobiologix Center that we started. And as we got along, we understood that this is a very new branch and people need to be made aware. So we ran awareness programs, we do training of doctors, and we also are looking at product manufacturing as well as getting products in India with cutting edge technology. So I think Niteen also would want to add something to this.
I think again, thank you for having us, Dr. Asawari. It's an absolute pleasure to be on your platform. I think a lot of the things that we were looking at, I think Dr. Sharmila kind of touched upon. The idea really was to figure out a solution rather than so the conversations internationally are, can we actually figure out why the disease is happening and go to the root cause of the disease so that it doesn't get into next levels. So globally, even within the pharma industries or wherever in the medical fraternity, if you see, the entire conversation is why are certain events happening and can we stop them from happening? Can we reverse them from happening? I think biologics and most of these newer technologies that are coming in are aimed towards that effect, as to how do we stop the disease from progressing and what is the root cause of that disease. I think that is something that excited us. As Sharmila mentioned, she was doing this for 7 years in Dubai, and we had a chat about the Indian market and how there is a need of that to bring such global technologies into India. I think that was our common passion that we kind of then set out on this show.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing the brief into the amazing work that you guys are doing. Also, before we move ahead, I will cut this section out by requesting both our speakers to just keep muting and unmuting yourselves so that we do not have any echo on behind while the other person is speaking. So just putting it out there. Back to our conversation now. So thank you so much, everybody, for sharing the insights into this. But as you guys were sharing, so I was wondering this one thing, one very big thing, that regenerative medicine is the holistic way of treating, these issues. So back in 30 years, as ma'am has experience of around 30 years. So back when you started, ma'am, into this field, how were the, treatments or scenarios in India were back then? And how has that, progression changed over these years in India particularly?
The question and the journey. Basically, 30 to 40 years back, the concepts were very clear that there were no minimally invasive surgeries. When I was doing my MS, I did from Nagpur, GMC Nagpur, and there was no concept of even arthroscope that time. And everything was open surgery, anything. So you would be just surprised to know that I have done even meniscus surgeries by opening the joint, which is unheard of in today's era. Okay, so that was the scene that time, that everything was open surgeries. All shoulder surgeries were open surgeries. There was no arthroscope. And as I passed out, actually arthroscopy started to come in, and the world shifted towards arthroscopy in last 15 to 20 years. There has been really, really very good progress in India also. India has extremely brilliant arthroscopic surgeons doing very good work. But again, coming back to what we do with, the next level of minimally invasive or non-invasive, as we would call it, as that we are trying to get to the root of the disease. So in India also now there is a lot of excitement happening that, we are actually trying to get to the root of the disease with all these biological treatments. So as we set out on the journey after we pass out, generally as orthopedic surgeons, initial phase is like very, very operative. Everybody's excited to operate, excited to do new surgeries. That's a routine with all orthopedic surgeons. As we mature, we realize that not everything needs surgery, and that balance needs to be done. And as we actually become seniors, then that's the time when we say actually that a good surgeon is the one who understands when not to operate rather than when to operate and how to operate. So in India, what I'm seeing now is that there is huge surge in total knee replacements. This is just a fraction of the arthritic problem that is existing in India. But what we are seeing right now is huge surge in total knee replacement surgeries. Now, why is that happening? Because we do not have a better option to treat an osteoarthritis. At Orthobiologix or in regenerative medicine, we are trying to figure out whether we get an option to treat arthritis from the root. So as of now, in India, what the general statistics that we dug out says that after 60 years of age, more than 45% of females are suffering from osteoarthritis of knee. At 70, it's more than 70% of the females are suffering from osteoarthritis of knee. You go to an international airport, you will just see, people or elderly females being driven in a wheelchair, so they can't even walk the distance, a short distance of maybe 500 meters. So what we realize that arthritis or osteoarthritis is becoming a huge problem with the increase in our lifespan. And now people do want to be active and useful till they are surviving. They want to lead pain-free lives. And so, this arthritis is becoming a huge burden on everybody's life and, of course, the productivity also. So that's one part of it. What we also see that now osteoarthritis is happening in early ages. I get a lot of patients in 40s and 50s in India who are having osteoarthritis, knee pain. You just start talking to people and you will realize that every alternate person is complaining of some aches or pains. So these are all, now we know that the root cause of all these degenerative diseases is chronic inflammation, what is happening. And so these regenerative treatments are being targeted towards treating that chronic inflammation. So I believe that India has a huge potential to be the leader in this space, regenerative medicine, surely because of our huge population, and second, huge amount of lifestyle diseases as well as arthritis happening.
Okay.
Definitely, ma'am. Very vital information that you shared with us, that arthritis is not just a female-oriented disease now. It is, affecting populations across and also across ages. It's not limited to only old age now. We are having young women as well, being affected by osteoarthritis, etc. One of my very close family members also has been detected of early stage osteoarthritis, and the surprising aspect is their age is not that much. It is earlier how it was supposed to be a old people's disease. Now it's affecting the mid-30s very easily. So very alarming, amazing work that you are doing, on focusing on the holistic and preventive methods more than just the surgical aspect, because the future of Indian population, which would be majority of old people now, would definitely need a complete cure of this such diseases. Also, with the government supporting more holistic, more preventive focused methods of treatment more now. So my next question is to Mr. Niteen. So sir, from entrepreneur point of view, while you were founding the Orthobiologix, what was your initial vision behind at that time, and how has that evolved through these years of you closely working with ma'am into this space? Sir, can you please unmute yourself?
So we in India pride ourselves to be the a young population, and going and talking about that across the world, saying that how our workforce is one of the youngest and ever growing. The flip side of that is, and we have been doing this since 2000. So over the last 15 years, the age bracket has moved up as well, right? So people in their 20s and 30s have gone into their 30s and 40s and so on and so forth. What we haven't yet as a country come to terms with is, as that age profile, and we were earlier a fairly triangular structure in which, the older generation wasn't that much and the bigger population bucket was at the lower end of the age profile, so in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. But that bucket is kind of going up very, very quickly as the decades pass. And so soon we are going to have a significant population in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. And I don't think we are yet geared towards looking at those kind of volumes on a national basis. And that was the simple theory when we looked into the market. One, on the innovation side, which we are bringing products and a solution where there is an issue in the market is even today at the given levels. Two, that market is going to explode just in terms of the number of people that are going to come into an age that requires certain level of interventions as we go forward. So the pain points that the people, and I think Dr. Sharmila touched base upon it. If you look at the continuum of services that are provided from an osteoarthritic knee perspective, they're broadly divided into 4 grades. And in the first 3 grades, the only solution or the only help that is given to the patients is different types of painkillers and physiotherapy and what have you, till the knee becomes, and I'm talking purely from a knee osteoarthritis patient, till the patient becomes grade 4 or there is, bone on bone as they call it, and they need a surgery. And there is very little that people do till they reach, grade 4. So most of our services are kind of geared towards making sure that, the patient doesn't reach grade 4 or gets delayed significantly and has a healthier knee to go through life, and therefore may delay or not require surgery at all. So these interventions that we are bringing into the market do not exist. So we are kind of solving a huge problem in the marketplace as it stands today, and that's where the excitement for looking at orthobiologics is.
So before we get back to ma'am, I have another following question for you. So
Sure.
While we are talking about, focusing on this kind of audience, population, etc., what kind of challenges have you faced? And would want to know from both of you, what kind of challenges, have you faced in your entrepreneur journey with this innovative technology that you're bringing to the country? Because I am aware that not majority of surgeons are working towards this kind of utilizing this kind of technology or methods for treating the patients. So what were the hindrances, gaps, etc., so that our audience who are budding entrepreneurs themselves, who are into this field or looking at coming up with such technology or solutions, get such learning points from you both, starting from sir?
I think that's a fantastic question. Like in any disruptive technologies or changes that happen in any industry, the initial acceptance is usually low, and you typically in marketing jargons you have the early adopters and the late bloomers, but the early adopters are something that we therefore focus on. Internationally, if you see the adoption has started increasing significantly. In India, I think there are few players who are doing this on a regular basis, but what we've done separately and interestingly is we have added a huge training segment to our business. So we do significant amounts of doctor trainings and informational trainings, hands-on trainings, and that has helped us kind of bring about a lot more awareness than usually there is, and that's kind of helped us stay ahead of the curve, if you may, and get people's acceptance, get people talking about it, have conversations about it, so on and so forth. I'll let Dr. Sharmila touch base a little bit more on the technical side of how things work.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the challenges I would say are on two different levels. One is at patient levels because there is lack of information completely. So we started doing a lot of patient education programs and talks all the while so that patient who walks in our center is already empowered with basic information that what they are looking for. Okay, so that is one. At doctors levels, we already had, we knew that there is going to be resistance because this is completely a very different way of looking at diseases and their root causes. Okay, so it's not only arthritis. We also, there are lots of other types of arthritis that we treat. There are spinal issues, spine issues that we treat, disc issues or degenerative discs. There are tendinopathies, which means that rotator cuff tears or every joint will have some tendon issues around them. So all of that. We also include autoimmune diseases with joint issues in this, like rheumatoid arthritis and psoriatic arthritis, and the list is very long. So, so with all this, we have to have a very strong training base for the doctors, and that's how we actually have collaborated with American Board of Regenerative Medicine. And we are the only affiliated center for American Board of Regenerative Medicine in India, where we have a very robust program in which we do a hands-on training program as well as a didactic or theory basic program for regenerative medicine. And we are we have been able to generate a lot of interest in doctors across all specialties for this. So since I'm an orthopedician, okay, so initially we did start with orthopedic surgeons being our main, partners. But now we have pain specialists coming in, we have plastic surgery people coming in, we have rheumatologists coming in, internal medicine, gynecologists for there are so many applications of this in other specialties as well. So yes, initial response was a little bit resistance, but now we are getting very good response from across all specialties.
I just like to add certain bit. I think the other bit that we've done very interestingly is we have backed it up with a lot of research and data across the world. So some of these procedures that we do are also seen across the world. We've collaborated with, so Sharmila has a lot of papers to her credit across the globe on variety of different procedures that she mentioned. And that brings about a level of confidence when we go and talk to other doctors as well. So we are able to showcase a lot of international research on variety of things, our own papers that get published, and that's really been the backbone of what we are trying to do. So it's all research driven, it's all international focus. We do interact with international specialists all the time, and of course we have a strong training focus along with it. So that kind of brings a lot of doctors who are looking at newer technologies, who are interested in seeing what is happening across the world onto the table, and they kind of take the conversations forward along with us.
Thank you so much for sharing the amazing thoughts. And yes, as you rightly said, the importance of research is, of paramount, so that, the government is also encouraging more and more clinicians to document that data, so that we have Indian origin, good quality data to not just, refer back to for cases and diseases, but also to train future systems that, the government is actively working towards integrating things with AI and such advanced technologies in future as well. So talking about future, we would very much like to know, what are your plans for the next 5 or 10 years for orthobiologics, as well as your thoughts for the industry that you belong to for the coming year or coming 5 years? So thoughts on both, starting from Dr. Sharmila.
I think next 5 to 10 years, are going to be extremely critical. There is, at least that's our prediction, that there is going to be really a boom in regenerative therapies and treatment, and so the industry. Um, Actually, we have been collaborating with a lot of other researchers as well as clinicians for taking the research forward, and we think that that's going to be a big focus, conducting clinical trials, research, and getting new technologies and new products in the market for India, as well as taking training forward. Okay, so that the level of training is going to be really, next level from next year. That's second. And the third one, I would say, is standardization. So regenerative medicine being a very new field, there is no standardization of the treatments, protocols, and the products. So our next immediate goal for next 2 years or even next year, I would say, is to standardize the treatments, the protocols of the treatments, as well as the products that we going to get in. So that's our immediate goal. And I think 5 or 10 years, Nitin will be able to add a lot to this.
So I think our goal is very clearly laid out. Our goal is to be the go-to company as far as India is concerned for any regenerative medicine treatment protocols, treatments, training in the country. What does that really mean? Which means that because of our uniqueness, that we are in training. We actually also last year did our first pure regenerative medicine conference, one of a kind, on a scale that was never been seen in India before. The next year conference is scheduled again on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd of August, where we get all the big honchos of the regenerative world in the conference. They have brilliant conversations around what is happening in India globally. So our stated objective is to be the chosen, the go-to company as far as regenerative business, whether it's introducing new products, introducing new educative segments, or starting a new research line on specific elements.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sharmila and Mr. Niteen, for joining us today. But before we let you go, we have a very, very special question that we ask all our guests who come up at Elets Innovation Talk, which is to reveal one piece of information that hasn't been shared on any other platform. So for Orthobiologix, exclusively for Elets audience, what would you be able to share with us today?
I think Nitin has already, revealed that one of the biggest regenerative conferences is going to happen this year now. We've already decided the dates, August 1st, 2nd, 3rd. It's going to be in Chennai, and it is going to be, with the international speakers and international researchers coming down to India to talk about this very innovative and very new field. And that's what we are totally excited about as of now.
Thank you so much. Congratulations for the upcoming conference. We wish you the best so that, this industry in India booms in the coming years. Our heartiest wishes. Also, we would like to inform that eHealth, along with Elets Technomedia, has organized a patient centricity focused summit and award, which is happening in New Delhi on 31st of January. And we would be very glad to have you as our guest at the event. So my team would be able to share you further details for being our esteemed delegates. Also, for our audience who have been watching us all throughout this session, thank you so much for staying tuned with us. If you have any questions for Dr. Sharmila or Mr. Niteen, or around this field, please feel free to leave those in the comments down below. We will make sure to get you back the answers from our guests. Also, if you have any further topics that you would like us to have guests on, also leave those down below. With that, we thank Dr. Sharmila Tulpule and Mr. Niteen Tulpule for taking part with us, for giving their time and exclusive insights for our audience today. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you, Dr. Asawari. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Asawari.
So, and with that, we close off this session now. Thank you so much. Stay happy, stay healthy. Bye bye.